Okay. Titles. Current language. Vietnamese. And yeah, I want to make sure that I can. That's actually broadcast. Yes, it is actually broadcast. Okay. Make sure the audio up because I streamed for like 2.5 hours earlier today, and I had forgot to set up the audio output so it would use these headphones rather than the earbuds, which are currently charging, and so I went several hours without any audio from Duolingo, and really would rather avoid that. Okay. Checkpoint 1. Complete the challenge to unlock more skills. Okay, we're gonna do a checkpoint, a challenge to unlock skills. Ah, right. Things that happen when you have a relatively tight working space here. Loading. Our mission is to develop the best education in the world, make it universally available. Good goal. I think there is definitely some room for improvement on that.
Vâng, cô ấy vẫn khỏe.
Yes. He is still fine. Vâng, cô ấy vẫn khỏe.
Sấm sét và mây. Sấm sét và mây. Sấm sét và mây. Sấm sét và mây. Sấm sét và mây.
I don't understand those first couple of words.
Cảm ơn, hẹn gặp lại.
Thank you. See you later.
Tôi mặc áo.
Tôi muốn cái này và cái kia.
I want this, that, and that. This, and that.
Bé gái muốn học. Bé gái muốn học. Cái găng tay ở nhà ga.
Găng tay. Something găng tay, I'm not sure about.
Găng.
Găng, right. Careful. I go. Oh. Yi. Go. Go. Ui. La. Is. 40 XP for my daily goal. Okay, that's a relief because there were a bunch that I was really not sure about. And they didn't actually I guess they weren't expecting me to write the diacritics. I have the Vietnamese keyboard layout, but it is such a pain in the ass to use. But I don't.
Người Việt Nam thích uống trà. Người
Người
Việt Nam
thích
thích uống
trà.
trà.
Means people like to drink tea.
Chào buổi sáng Việt Nam.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Chào, làm ơn cứ tự nhiên. Làm ơn cứ tự nhiên.
Tự nhiên.
Chào buổi sáng.
Good morning. Chào buổi sáng.
Vâng, mẹ của tôi vẫn ổn. Mẹ của tôi vẫn ổn. Sữa hay nước?
You didn't give me the usually they give you the diacritics. Okay, I'm gonna have to this the Vietnamese. Vietnamese. Oh no, that's 10x.
Cứ tự nhiên. Cứ tự nhiên.
Help yourself.
Chúng tôi đọc những quyển sách.
We read books.
Làm ơn cẩn thận. Làm ơn cẩn thận.
Cẩn thận is sorry.
Bạn
be
là người
careful.
Việt Nam.
You Vietnamese.
Xin lỗi, làm ơn cứ tự nhiên. Ơn, làm, ổn, cứ, tự, nhiên.
Hell.
Lỗi, làm, ơn, cứ, tự, nhiên.
Sorry, please help
Cẩn thận.
yourself. Be careful. Or look out.
Phường của cô ấy là đây. Phường của cô ấy là đây.
Quyển sách.
Quyển sách.
Cảm ơn và làm ơn cẩn thận. Cảm ơn và làm ơn cẩn thận.
Thank you and please be careful.
Đứa trẻ có một quyển sách.
Đưa hay
Bạn ăn cá hay gà? Bạn ăn cá hay gà?
fish or chicken? Chào buổi sáng. Buổi sáng.
Hẹn gặp lại.
Okay, it doesn't actually require me to bother with the diacritics. That's handy. Again, pain in the ass using the Vietnamese keyboard and then switching.
Tôi vẫn bình thường. Tôi vẫn bình thường.
I'm still normal.
Làm ơn lặp lại.
Please come again. Please repeat.
Tôi uống nước bằng cái ly đó. Tôi uống nước bằng cái ly đó.
Drink water with that cup.
Tên tôi là.
Name is.
Vâng, tôi thích học tiếng Việt. Vâng, tôi thích học tiếng Việt.
Yes, I like learning Vietnamese.
Anh ấy muốn nói tiếng Việt.
Tôi vẫn khỏe, cảm ơn. Tôi vẫn khỏe, cảm ơn.
Tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại.
Goodbye and see you later.
Anh ấy ăn bánh mì và học tiếng Việt. Ấy ăn bánh mì và học tiếng Việt.
Read and studies Vietnamese.
Chào mừng, tên tôi là.
Welcome, my name is.
Xin cảm ơn, tạm biệt.
Thank you, goodbye.
Vâng, vẫn bình thường.
Chào, tôi nói tiếng Việt.
Oh, I speak Vietnamese.
Cảm ơn, hẹn gặp lại.
Hẹn gặp lại. Thank you, see you again. Pay attention to the accent. Yeah, I mean, really, I ought to be doing, but I don't seem to have the easy to use Vietnamese keyboard installed. They had diacritics here for a while now. They just sort of expect you, like, they don't tell you how to. Okay, that's annoying. Well, they're not marking you off for it, but it is kind of important to actually learn to put them there and put them where they're supposed to be. So in a way, they really actually ought to be marking you off for that, because if you have the tones in different places, it means different things. On, and un are different words entirely. So they really ought to be, but they don't explain to you how you would actually be able to generate these on your own. And cover the alt codes. I mean, learning all those, that's just unwieldy. I mean, so you'd have to know about different keyboard layouts, which I mean, that's pretty easy to set up, but it takes time to get used to.
Tôi khỏe, cảm ơn bạn.
I'm fine, thank you.
Tạm biệt An.
Goodbye, tạm biệt. Oh, that's An. Goodbye, An.
Tôi là một đứa trẻ bình thường.
I am a normal child. Which is exactly the sort of thing one expects a normal child to say, of course. Tạm biệt An.
Tạm biệt An.
Okay, I am in second on the leaderboard here. 8 behind the top. 30 out of 50 XP towards the daily goal. 54.33 out of 7,500 for the next.
Cuốn thực đơn. Cuốn thực đơn.
The menu. I need.
Một cái đĩa.
Yeah. Yeah, là cái gì? A plate. There is plate.
Nó là một tờ báo.
Nó
Nó là một tờ
báo.
báo.
It is a newspaper.
Những người đàn ông ăn đu đủ.
Then eats
Đủ.
papaya. Đủ. The many papaya. So,
Tờ thực đơn.
the menu.
Tờ báo.
Newspaper.
Tôi ăn một quả táo. Tôi ăn
Ăn
một quả
quả
táo.
táo. I eat an apple.
Các con gà. Các con gà.
Các con gà. I see. Cái ghế. Okay. See, part of the problem here is there's no context. The chair is a much more meaningful thing if I'm thinking about it in a particular context. Like, I'm terrible, and I think a lot of people, which if you just sort of ask them random words, unless they just sort of know them off by heart, that is not that's not how our brains really, for the most part, think about things. You have a context, like so. The chair as a random thing in a complete vacuum isn't a thing that normally happens in our
Quả
lives.
táo.
Quả táo. Apple.
Những cái ca.
Chickens, I think. The mugs.
Cậu bé
À.
có một cái bánh. Cậu bé có một cái bánh. Có. Bé. Cậu bé có một cái bánh. Cậu. Có. Bé. Có. Một. Cái. Bánh.
Boy
Chúng
has a
tôi đọc
cake.
những quyển sách.
Yeah, read books.
Đứa trẻ có một trái táo.
Good.
Đứa trẻ có. Đứa trẻ có một trái táo. Đứa trẻ có một trái táo. Một trái táo.
Child has an apple. Why child? Why child though? I mean, it's normally quả táo.
Chúng tôi có những cuốn sách.
Books.
Các bạn ăn những quả táo. Các bạn ăn những quả táo.
Lot are eating apples.
Cậu bé có một quả cam. Cậu bé có một gà. Cậu bé có một quả cam. Quả cam.
Tôi muốn cái này và cái kia. Muốn cái này và cái kia.
I want this, and that.
Một cái đĩa.
Plate. See, another example. Like, these are things that don't generally come to us in a vacuum, so it's weird and actually counterintuitive. And one of the things that would also just facilitate learning if they did this, I mean, like, is if there were a narrative flow in this. Like, I mean, and apparently there is some of this in Duolingo stories and stuff, and that's good. That's good. There needs to be way more of that. Because if you create interesting stories with your vocabulary words, and it doesn't matter what language this is happening, your brain is going to be more likely to actually integrate all of the information they're getting. I mean, and this is something, actually, Stephen Krashen, if you look him up, you see all sorts of information on this. I mean, it's his life's work has been researching this stuff. And what it comes down to, what works, no matter what the method is, if these aspects are present, language acquisition is going to be fairly successful. And that is comprehensible input that is compelling or at least interesting enough to hold somebody's concentration in a low stress environment. Comprehensible means that you've got enough points of reference that you can make sense out of it. It's not completely out of nowhere. Compelling, I mean, you have to, you have to be engaged. And it turns out stress is actually very counterproductive in language learning. In other areas of study, it's actually not necessarily bad, but in language learning, it is destructive. You want a very low stress.
Các con gà.
Unga. Chicken.
Những cái ca.
Mugs. The mugs.
Cô ấy là
15.
con ong đó. Cô ấy là con ong đó. Ấy là con ong đó.
His daughter, I think. Oh, ong. Oh, not ong. Bee. She is that bee.
Một con ong.
A bee? Con ong.
Con ong.
See, there's an example of why the diacritics matter. Because if you write that with a circumflex on top of it, a caret, it's pronounced ong, and it is a term for a man who is at least about 20 years older than you.
Con ong và cà phê.
Bee and coffee. Well, no, that isn't a typo. There isn't a plural specified. Now, you don't need to necessarily specify a plural. There's nothing in here that says that it has to. It would be những con ong. Then you'd have definitely bees. But the con ong could be bee or it could be.
Đứa trẻ kia muốn uống nước. Trẻ kia muốn uống nước.
A child wants to drink water.
Nhà ga đu quay.
Chin. Quay. No idea.
Quay.
Ferris wheel. Yeah, like seriously, how's this? I mean, this is not pedagogically useful. These are just two random terms that have nothing to do with each other and in no context that relates them to each other. Like, Ukwai, I would be extremely surprised if I actually retained Dukwai because I don't really talk about Ferris wheel, and I've been given no reason to think about Ferris wheel that would have my mind primed for words for the concept. This is great. Yeah, the train station. The
Một
Ferris
cái
wheel.
găng tay dơ. Một cái găng tay dơ.
A dirty glove. Taser. Đó là cô ấy.
Đây là tôi.
Oh hell! I translated. I was supposed to transcribe. Yes. Đây là tôi.
Đu quay.
Ferris wheel. Cô ăn tu tu.
Người đàn ông kia muốn cái ca này. Người. Đàn. Người đàn ông kia muốn cái ca này. Ông. Kia. Người đàn ông kia muốn cái ca này. Muốn. Người đàn ông kia muốn cái ca này. Này.
That man wants this cup. Mug. Tươi ân còn ông. Oh, yes, it is a typo.
Một cái ca dơ. Một cái ca dơ.
Hello, Hannah Sace. How are you? Welcome. You dropped in on me being frustrated with the way they do the Vietnamese in here. Good to see you in here. I enjoyed your stream today as always. Con tôi.
Dì An ăn đu đủ.
Okay. I'm sure about. It's a papaya. Z, I'm not sure about.
Dì.
That's aunt also. Okay. Aunt eats a papaya. She is cool, can also be aunt. Oh. Lovely.
Dì có một con dơi. Dì. Dì có một con dơi. Có. Một. Con. Dơi.
Aunt has a bat for some reason.
Tôi ăn cái bánh mì này.
I eat this bread.
Đó là con gà.
Đó là con gà. That is a chicken. Or the chicken.
Một con dơi dơ.
A dirty bat.
Đây là tôi.
It really is, and it really shouldn't be as difficult as it is. It is because this is done in a really random way. Like, I would do a lot better with this, and I think most people who are doing this would do a lot better with this if they took a minute to come up with context. They gave you a narrative context in which to do this. But I was talking to somebody who has actually had contact with, like, the CEO of Duolingo. I keep wanting to say DuoGuessr because my main game that I stream is GeoGuessr, and knows a lot about the inner workings of the app. And part of the problem is you've got an AI that is deciding which phrases, which exercises to serve people, and so it is not set up to take into account any kind of narrative structure. But the thing about the human brain and the way human language acquisition works is that we're kind of primed to deal with narrative structures. It's actually like there's a whole teaching method that builds on this kind of research called TPSR, Teaching Proficiency, Storytelling, and Reading. And so this is actually, I have to say, not as well done as other aspects of this that I've done just today. It's actually kind of frustrating because it's just like randomly the chair. Well, I mean, give me a reason, give me a context in which the chair is happening. I'm not in a quantum singularity and a chair shows up very often.
Đây là tôi.
Đây là tôi. Yeah, I got this one wrong, but only because I translated instead of transcribing. This is me. Okay. Oh, you do not know, Duolingo, what my daily goals look like. Okay. Top of Silver League, not bad from having started this 5 days ago. Well, a week ago now.